Missions is not a ministry of the local church. It is the ministry of the local church. A local church is a means to an end, not an end in itself. If it were not for missionary endeavors, the local church, your local church, would not even exist. As a pastor, it is your responsibility to make your congregation understand this. Pastor is the most visible spokesperson for what the church is all about. He casts the vision for both his staff and his congregation. If the pastor does not have a missionary heart, neither will the church. If the church does not have a missionary heart, it will die, and probably should. A healthy organism reproduces. Churches tend to adopt the focus and values of their leadership. The pastor is the chef who prepares his congregation's spiritual diet, and missions is not a condiment. Along with things like worship, the spiritual disciplines, and Bible knowledge, it is one of the basic food groups. It must constitute part of a balanced diet in the assembly. The Bible is saturated with missional teaching, even the Old Testament. And the pastor's prophetic function requires him to teach the whole counsel of God. He cannot possibly do that if he does not teach his people about missions. If he wants the church to learn about God, he will teach them that God's heart is a missional heart. He will model and teach the first fruits living about which we read in James 1:18, where James writes, "Of his own will he brought us forth by the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures." If a pastor does not understand and model disciple making, his church will never be an effective missionary church. The church at Antioch provides a model for the ideal sending church. It was a congregation that was ideally suited to launch phase 3 of Jesus' Acts 1:8 prediction. It was multi-ethnic, well-taught, devoted to Christ, compassionate, visionary, and submitted to the direction of the Holy Spirit. Even when he told the leaders at Antioch to release their 2 best players, they resolved to obey. Your church can be like the church at Antioch, but not without your leadership. The pastor must be aware of theological and missiological trends. He is in the best position to encourage people to become missionaries. He must understand that one test of a healthy church is not its seating capacity, but its sending capacity. He should be well informed about the missionaries with whom the church is involved, so he can also keep the congregation informed. He can introduce and implement a sound missions policy if the church does not already have one. The pastor is a shepherd. His sheep will go where he goes. If he stays home, so will they.